So one devotee recently had written me about how to deal with people who have emotional problems. They're always blaming, they're always criticizing, they expect so much from other people, they think the world's out to get them. You try to give them instruction, they take it personally. Well, if a person has those problems, it's likely they've had some trauma, some very difficult situations in their life where they feel a kind of personal lack of worth. Nobody loves them, the world's against them, everyone's against them. And they kind of feel that the world owes them something because other people are successful but they're not, so it should be balanced out. But which to some degree is true. We should help those less fortunate. But when this gets excessive, then there's self-pity, self-doubt, low self-esteem, and it's kind of a mess because they tend to blame everyone and everything other than themselves. So this devotee was writing me and saying, well, what if you are close to people like that? How do you deal with it? And worse, what if you're close to people like that who are in your family and you have no choice but to be around them? So it's a good question because it's common. Well, number one, we're not obliged to have close relationships with anyone who we feel is harmful for us, either physically, emotionally, or spiritually. Now, I know some devotees will say that, but they're devotees, so shouldn't I be close to them? You should be nice to them, you should be appreciative of them, you should respect them, but if being close to them is toxic for you, if it's harmful for you, because they bring you down because they're always complaining, or worse, they're criticizing other devotees and you don't want to be around, no one should want to be around someone who's criticizing because it's harmful for us, then yes, you can distance yourself. In fact, Shastra says if some devotee is being criticized, you should go away from that place. And if you know this person is always going to be criticizing, then obviously you don't want to be close to them. So that's one way of looking at this phenomenon. Now, some people who are like this know that they're like this, they know why they're like this, and they're trying to work on it. They're nice people and they're nice devotees, and they don't bring others down. A lot of that criticism and blame, it's towards themselves, it's internal, they don't verbalize it, so it's not having a negative effect on you. And with those people, often you can help them. They'll want to be helped, they'll be open to it. They'll be open to learning ways to overcome their problem. Those who are not open, don't try to help them because they'll just become upset. They have high expectations, and when you try to help them, they'll want more and more. Prabhu, can you loan me some money? I give you $20. Is that all? Can you give me 50? I give you 50. What about next week? Can you give 100? You know, you have a lot of money and I don't. Why don't you just give me 5,000? That would kind of balance it out. I've been around people like that, and no matter what you do, they always expect more. So they're virtually impossible to help. What if these people are your family members? You can't run away from them. What if you live with them? Then, as I've often said, try to understand the difficulty they're in and try to understand their behavior is normal for someone who's gone through those situations. And detachment, tolerance, and acceptance. These are really the only ways we can deal with it. If they continually act in a certain way, at least don't take it personally. Don't allow that to make you feel like there's something wrong with you. Because when we're abused by other people, we can often start losing our own self-esteem, and then we go down. So don't take it personally. Some people just abuse other people. That's what they do. It's not you specifically they're abusing, they just abuse. That's their nature. So we have to understand that. And just in general, taking things personally doesn't really help us. We want to see the situation, the reality of it, as best we can, and deal with it. So if they're struggling, don't allow their struggles to affect you, but understand they're damaged to some degree, and that's why they're acting that way. And just, as far as you can, tolerate it, understand it, be a little detached from it. That's just the way so-and-so is. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about what if what we just described is you. Then what do you do? That's a good question. That's an important question to answer, just in case I just described you.